This is a world map, and you can see Antarctica in the far south of the globe in white. What the map does not show is how frigid the area is. Another thing you might not notice from the map is the number of discoveries that are taking place in the frigid zone. Despite the difficult conditions, scientists are hard at work in Antarctica, and many of the discoveries they have made are horrifying. In this video, we present the terrifying new findings made beneath Antarctica. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already and hit the bell icon, so you don't miss out on the amazing mysteries of the world. Let's begin. This year saw a slew of scientific breakthroughs from the world's southernmost continent. Antarctica is not only the coldest continent, it also has the most secrets. Because of its isolation and harsh climate, there is still a treasury of strange and amazing freaks beneath the ice and seas just waiting to be uncovered. And in 2022, scientists struck gold. This year's greatest Antarctica stories range from secret ecosystems and ancient DNA to logic-defying flowers and frightening fish nests. Surprisingly, the surface area of the ice expands substantially over the winter, from around 3 million square kilometers, or 1.2 million square miles, to 19 million square kilometers, or 7.3 million square miles. But what if Antarctica had no ice at all? How would the continent appear? A hidden world under the ice. With the use of a giant hot water drill, scientists were able to discover an ecosystem that had never been seen before, hiding in an underground river located thousands of feet below the frozen surface of the Larsen ice shelf. Around 1,640 feet below the ice's surface is where you'll find the huge chamber that houses the hidden habitat. When the researchers finally decided to dig down into the structure to explore it, they had no idea what they would find inside. They had discovered the underground structure after spotting an unusual groove in a satellite image of the ice sheet. Instead, the group discovered thousands of extremely small crustaceans, known as amphipods, which caused them to jump up and down for pleasure. The new deepest point mapped. The Factorian Deep, the area of the seafloor that is the deepest around Antarctica, was one of the features that scientists were able to see in the highest detail thanks to a newly released map of the Southern Ocean. The Factorian Deep wasn't found until 2019, despite the fact that it lies approximately 7,437 meters or 24,400 feet below the surface of the ocean. This is equivalent to stacking 17 Empire State Buildings on top of each other. However, up until this point, experts had no understanding of how this feature related to the seafloor in the surrounding area. The new map, which encompasses more than 18.5 million square miles of seafloor, was created with the help of more than 1,200 sets of sonar data that were acquired, for the most part, by scientific vessels. The sea bottom chart is going to be used by the researchers in the hopes of locating underwater mountains, also known as seamounts, that could be important breeding grounds for marine species. The bottom that defies logic blossoms. Two research teams found seemingly implausible phytoplankton blooms deep beneath Earth's northern oceans. Scientists believe phytoplankton could not live in the water underneath polar sea ice due to a lack of light. New studies show that algae can survive with 1% surface light. Deep diving floats in Antarctica measured chlorophyll F, a pigment utilized by algae and other plants during photosynthesis, in the water beneath sea ice and discovered a high phytoplankton abundance. Climate warming may reduce sea ice, increasing light for bottom blooms, according to the study. A million-year-old DNA unearthed. When scientists were taking routine samples of silt from the bottom of the Scotia Sea, they made an incidental discovery that led to the discovery of DNA from ancient microbes, some of which are approximately 1 million years old. The ancient genetic material was recovered at depths as much as 584 feet, 178 meters below the ocean. Its age ranges from approximately 1 million years ago to approximately 540,000 years ago. It is unknown to the scientific community which species the oldest DNA samples come from. However, the most recent samples almost certainly come from a kind of phytoplankton known as diatoms. The diatoms date back to an ancient age of global warming and may provide hints as to how the marine ecosystems of Antarctica will react to climate change induced by humans. The seeded DNA record from the Scotia Sea reveals that around 540,000 years ago, when the Earth was going through a phase of natural warming, there was likely an explosion in the abundance of diatoms. This occurred around the same time as the natural warming phase. According to what the researchers said in the publication, higher ocean temperatures and a rise in the rate of ice loss from Antarctica's ice sheet likely supported fast diatom growth and reproduction during this time period. According to what the experts wrote, climate change brought on by humans is expected to bring about similar scenarios. The team is of the opinion that it is of the utmost importance to learn more about the changes that ecosystems went through during prior periods of warming in order to acquire a better understanding of how ecosystems will change again in the future. Because Antarctica is one of the locations on Earth that is most susceptible to the effects of climate change, it is of the utmost importance to investigate both the ecosystem's historical and contemporary responses to shifts in their surrounding environment. Doomsday Glacier in danger. The Thwaites Glacier in Antarctica, also known as the Doomsday Glacier, was investigated by underwater robots, who discovered that the glacier is only clinging to the bottom below it by its fingernails. After it has detached, it will likely travel quickly and experience a sharp increase in the rate at which it loses ice, both of which will hasten its demise. A new map of the seafloor surrounding the icy behemoth revealed a series of parallel grooves that were left behind as the glacier scraped along the ocean bottom during previously unknown periods of rapid retreat within the last few centuries. The grooves were discovered on the map as a result of the new map. Researchers are warning that another instance of this type of rapid melting could be brought on by unusually high temperatures brought on by climate change. These new discoveries should cause concern since they demonstrate that the Thwaites Glacier went through pulses of very fast retreat, long before the effects of climate change exacerbated the present rate of ice loss. It demonstrates that the glacier has the ability to accelerate significantly quicker if it detaches from its current grounding point and anchors to a following bump-like grounding point. Enormous underground river discovered. Using ice-penetrating radar that was placed on aircraft, researchers were able to locate a vast subsurface river that flows beneath 4 distinct ice sheets. In addition to being longer than the Thames River in England, this river empties into the Weddell Sea the melting ice from an area that is larger than both France and Germany combined. It is possible that world sea levels may rise by 14.1 feet, 4.3 meters, if the entire region were to melt as a result of climate change. This could have disastrous effects. Researchers are of the opinion that there is most likely an extensive network of underground rivers that spans the entire continent. According to what the researchers noted in their report, rising temperatures, for instance, could cause Antarctica to behave more like Greenland in the future. During the summer, Greenland experiences temperatures high enough to cause surface melting. If the surface of Antarctica continues to warm up to the point where it begins to melt, then more water will most certainly make its way to the base of the Antarctic ice sheet through cracks and crevices. During the summer, Antarctica's surface now remains mostly frozen. This melting could, in turn, cause further melting to occur lower down. Previous studies have looked at the interaction between the edges of ice sheets and ocean water to determine what melting looks like. Glacier geophysicist Neil Ross, co-author of the study and professor at the University of Newcastle in England, said in the statement. Ross is one of the researchers. However, the finding of a river that stretches hundreds of kilometers inland and drives some of these processes demonstrates that we cannot fully comprehend the ice melt without taking into consideration the entire system, which includes the ice sheet, the ocean, and the fresh water. World's largest iceberg says farewell. The Terra satellite operated by NASA took a picture of the world's largest iceberg, known as A76A, while it was beginning its journey out from Antarctica. The photo was taken as the iceberg was drifting in the opening of the Drake Passage, which is a stormy stretch of water in the Southern Ocean. The massive piece of ice, which measures approximately 84 miles, 135 kilometers, in length and 16 miles, 26 kilometers in width, separated off the Ronan ice shelf in 2021 for the first time. When icebergs enter the Drake Passage, they are normally immediately pulled eastward by strong ocean currents, and then they are whipped northward into warmer waters, where they quickly melt away completely. However, this year, icebergs have been lingering in the Drake Passage longer than usual. It is not known where A76A will wind up in the long run or when it will fall into the water and meet its end. Millions of fish nests. The discovery of a treasure trove of 60 million icefish nests dotting the floor of the Weddell Sea in Antarctica astounded the researchers who were working aboard an icebreaker ship at the time. The nests were found by accident through the use of a video feed from the ocean floor that was being monitored on board a research vessel that was primarily aiming to investigate whales. The distance between each nest was approximately 10 inches, 25 centimeters, and they were spread out over an area of approximately 93 square miles, 240 square kilometers. A guardian fish was stationed atop each nest, which had a total of approximately 1,700 eggs in each compartment. There were also many dead icefish in the area, which is more evidence that the enormous icefish colony is an essential component of the ecosystem in this region. These dead icefish most likely serve as food for the local Weddell seal population. Massive lake under the ice. Researchers dug deep into the East Antarctic ice sheet and uncovered a lake the size of a metropolis that had been hidden there. The hidden lake, which was given the name Lake Snow Eagle, covers an area of 143 square miles and is located in a canyon that is 1 mile deep. It is covered by ice that extends for 2 miles. After conducting rigorous aerial surveys across the ice sheet with radar and specialized sensors, designed to monitor minute changes in the Earth's gravity for a period of 3 years, the crew finally discovered the lake. It is believed by experts that it may contain river sediments that are 34 million years old, making them older than the ice sheet itself. These sediments may provide insight into what Antarctica was like before it became covered in ice. Simultaneous polar heat waves. During the course of the previous year, both of the Earth's polar regions were hit by unheard-before heat waves that occurred simultaneously and saw temperatures briefly soar to heights that had never been reached before in certain spots. The average temperature in Antarctica was 8.6 degrees Fahrenheit, 4.8 degrees Celsius, higher than the average temperature elsewhere on Earth. The Arctic experienced an average temperature that was 3.3 degrees Celsius and 6 degrees Fahrenheit higher than typical on the same day. Due to the fact that the two polar regions experience opposite seasons, it is extremely rare to find high temperatures in both of them at the same time. For example, when spring arrives in the northern hemisphere, the Arctic is just starting to thaw, while Antarctica is beginning to freeze after several months of summer melt. In general, temperatures in Antarctica have been more constant than they have been in the Arctic, so scientists were particularly taken aback by the recent heat wave that swept throughout the continent. Looking to fill your boots with even more such content? Then don't forget to give us a thumbs up and share your thoughts below in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.